Hello everyone, Mr. Knorr here, and I'm going to do a quick overview of today's lesson. I apologize if I'm talking fast. I just want to make sure that we get all that basic information out just in case you missed the Zoom meeting this morning or you just want a quick review of the expectations for today. So our objective for day one is to design a keychain, and we want to make sure that when we make our keychain that it is 3D printable. So there's some parameters that you're going to have to follow to ensure that we could actually print this thing out on a 3D printer. And when you finish and you have a final keychain for us, there is a link, and I'll show you where that is, where you can submit your keychain for us to print at ASU. All right, so today's mission is to design a keychain. This is something that would hang from car keys or house keys, maybe a lanyard that you could wear at school. Just kind of something that's going to have our name or a nickname. I did ASU up here with the little trident, but I encourage you to do your name or a nickname for yours. So 3D printing, I'm going to do this really quick. Most of this is for you to read. I'm just going to do a real quick overview. So 3D printing is additive manufacturing, meaning it's a process where we add things together. We build it by adding. And you can see in this little diagram, this is a 3D printer, this is a nozzle, and you can see that it's doing layer by layer. So it builds an entire layer and then it moves up about like 1 millimeter, and then it does the next layer, or depending on your 3D printer, how accurate it can print. So 3D printing uses something called FDM, or fused deposition modeling, and FDM really just means that we have this extruder and it's heating up a material that's going to fuse with the surrounding materials. It's also like if you were going to do icing on a cake, or even kind of clay is fused deposition modeling. But this specifically uses a heated nozzle and heats a material. For our camp, we use 2 different types of plastics, PLA or ABS, when we're printing on our 3D printers. And it's basically a plastic. ABS is what Lego is made out of. And it heats it up and it melts it and pushes it out this nozzle and goes layer by layer. So FDM really just means that we are heating up a material that's going to fuse together to create a solid object. One thing that you really want to keep in mind, and it shouldn't matter too much with keychains, but overhangs. It's a big deal in additive manufacturing. We're going to talk about overhangs a lot because if you want something 3D printed, it can't have too many overhangs. Now, an overhang is when you have material that hangs out and there is nothing underneath it. It's basically overhanging. It's hanging over without any supports. So in 3D printing, if you don't have anything for that plastic to fuse onto, it ends up with this stringy mess because gravity takes over. So what can you do about overhangs? Well, you can make sure that you don't have one. So keeping anything to an angle less than 45 degrees, we can add supports, and we can change how we print. So let me just show you the pictures. So having something that's curved that stays less than 45 degrees, or adding supports. So we can print plastic along with it. Luckily our software typically adds those automatically, and then that plastic has something to bind to when it's up here, and you no longer have an overhang. So you can see with this letter T, if we printed it without supports, we get this overhang, we get this stringy mess. One idea is to print it by flipping it upside down, so there is no overhang when it's printing layer by layer. And then you can see the Y here is less than 45 degrees. So our computer programs do all of that for us. You just really got to keep overhangs in mind when you're building. All right, so today's activity is we're going to be signing in on a website called TinkerCAD. It is a browser-based CAD program. CAD is computer assisted design. And so you're going to click on this link, and then there's going to be a green join my class button, and then your nickname, it's going to ask you for a nickname, is your first name and then add ASU 2021. So if you took my name and then added it, it should look like this. It will open up and then you can click create new design. I have a video right here, a keychain tutorial, if you need any help in doing this, because sometimes watching YouTube videos is easier than reading through on Canvas. But basically you're going to take the letters from the text and number library, these block letters, you're going to move them out onto the work plane. You can use your align tool. You can adjust the height, width, length, how high they are off the work plane, although be careful about making overhangs. Changing the other parameters with it. And then step 5 is adding the keychain ring. So there's some step-by-step directions here showing you how to create the cylinder that's a hole and putting it in the middle of this one and then grouping them together. And then when we group things that contain a hole in TinkerCAD, it basically cuts out whatever that shape is, gets cut out. All right, and then step 6 is just making sure that if you want us to 3D print it at ASU, that it looks nice like this. All the letters are on the work plane. It's not rotated, it's not turned. You don't have overhangs, so making sure that it's flat on the work plane and not lifted up. And then making sure that the letters are connected to each other. If your letters are not connected when we 3D print it out, you'll notice how they're not fused together, so it doesn't make a complete keychain. And no space between letters, that is good. You'll get one solid object with all the things fused together, and you could wear it as a keychain. You just want to make sure that if we're 3D printing it at ASU, that we keep the height less than 7 millimeters and the length and width each need to be less than 100 millimeters. It can't be too big. Now when you're ready to have that 3D printed here at ASU, just click on this link right here and it will ask you for the name of your TinkerCAD file, and describe it for us, just in case the title doesn't match up with the title on TinkerCAD. So just say, hey, it's a keychain and it says this. That will help us when we're looking to 3D print those out. Now if you finish early and you need a challenge, challenge 1 is making a keychain using the scribble tool. So in your basic shape library, you got this cool feature called scribble. I did a graffiti ASU, put a trident up top. You could do these block letters, puffy letters, graffiti style, cursive, anything like that. Have fun with it. Just challenge yourself to make different things and get used to the TinkerCAD environment. Challenge 2, now you'll notice if you use the text tool, the letters aren't touching, so you have to add other shapes that will connect it so that it fuses together as one complete shape. So you can see some examples down here of some different names, and they've used a rectangle down at the bottom, basically a box that they have changed the height, length, and width on. All right, final step is to share your design. So take a screenshot of them, make a little video. If you have a 3D printer at home, you could print it out and take a picture. And basically, we just want to see what you've done for the day. So when you click next over here, that's where you will submit it. If you take a fun picture and you want to share it with the rest of the class, the best way is to kind of have a shared Instagram hashtag. So you can always share things on social media and use that hashtag, and we'll keep an eye out for fun projects that people are making. All right, when you are ready to share, you're going to click next. So on here, you can upload text, website, media recording, file upload, and basically just use this tool to upload anything that you want to share with us. You don't have to, but it's always fun to see what you've done. All right, so that is it for our design a keychain. Sorry, I know today was long, but we had a lot of information to go over, and hopefully you guys make an awesome keychain. All right, remember, if you have any questions, I recommend watching this YouTube video right underneath activity, and we've got this how-to video right here. All right, thank you and good luck.